Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sloppy Lab. This is Bottom of the Beaker, the weekly show about the design, the ducks, and the strategy of Keyforge. Everyone, and I do mean everyone's, favorite unique deck game. That's right, Bottom of the Beaker, recently voted top 10 of current Keyforge podcasts by, I don't know, at least my mom and Quick Draws, for sure. I am JT Russell, Lord Sword Torhild, and my co-host knows all about playing double Battlefleet decks. He once wrote a whole name about it. I'm, of course, talking about Quick Draw 3457. How are we doing this evening, Quick Draw?
I'm doing great this evening. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again as well. And we are not alone in the lab. We have a very special guest joining us for this episode, and he is furiously trying to figure out how the heck he's going to explain to his family and friends that he willingly walked into the den of the adaptive cult. Welcome to the lab, Dr. Sheep. Dr. Sheep, welcome to the lab.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You got to go see how bad it can really get, so you know how good you have it.
That's right. It makes you appreciate life that you got.
Most guests are very appreciative and thankful to be here, and you just like firing
As I
shots
say,
in
so
your first words.
how's it feel being in the top 10 of Keyforge podcasts, but still below Bouncing Deathbork?
It's genuinely great. It's an honor. I'm very happy. I'm very pleased to be behind the Bouncing Death Quark among active Keyforge podcasts. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like losing to the write-in ballots. You know? It's like the pitched podcast that hasn't actually thrown anything out there yet. They still come out ahead, but it's okay. You know, keep on plugging. Episode 149, not too bad of the numbered episodes. So how about that? And I have to ask you too, Dan. We should have said Dan, aka Dr. Sheep or Sheep, however you want to go by here. You know, it's all big, loving adaptive family. We'll call you whatever you want. This is what right now we're recording. This is March 25th. We typically release episodes about a week after they're recorded. Did you ever worry that this was like, hey, an April Fool's episode and you were getting punked, or you're like, oh, no, these guys wouldn't do me dirty like that?
That would be far more exciting. No, I never even occurred to me that you would try to pull such a dirty thing on me.
That would be amazing if we had the gumption to do that. But to be totally honest, I was not even going to mention the A word to you tonight. JT's already said it twice, so.
It's just the elephant in the room. I don't know. I mean, I've got to tiptoe it around all night. You know, it's like...
Yeah, I was going to actually.
You're a much more gracious host than I am. Yeah, not adaptive. Though I mean, you know, if you want to, I'm just saying. But maybe we'll keep Quick Draw board for a little bit, Dan, because I'm super excited. I feel like we could probably talk for an hour about a recently discovered mutual appreciation of the literary variety. I have been very much enjoying the Bobiverse, and I heard that you gave that as a recommendation to Tobin from one of the other podcasts that came out ahead of us on the top 10 rankings. So yeah, I don't know. I'm loving the Bobiverse. I loved Dungeon Crawler Carl's whole bunch of series, but I don't know. You got any other books that you'd recommend just off the top of your head, or is that kind of what you're jamming this moment?
Yeah, so those are two that I've listened to. The only other thing recently that I've gone through a second listen of is a book called Super Powers by Drew Hayes. Generally, most of Drew Hayes' stuff I find pretty entertaining as well. Not as much. It's not the progression fantasy stuff like Dungeon Crawl Carl. It's almost more like it's a little bit younger adult feeling to me, but it's, you know, superheroes and stuff. It's another good 4-book series, or the super powered stuff, and then yeah, he's got some other fantasy based stuff, and then he's got a book series about a vampire accountant and the hijinks that one gets up to as a vampire accountant. I think you guys would really like that one.
Because we're boring like accountants?
Yeah, you know,
You can
guys
say it. I mean,
appreciate.
hey, just keep them coming all night. Let's just
Awesome.
You guys appreciate a more level, balanced approach to things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. Backhanded though it may be, I'll take it. And then the Drew Hayes series. I don't know Drew Hayes, so I'm gonna check that out. But it sounded a little bit like, I'm sure you're familiar with Brandon Sanderson. It sounds a little bit like his other series, which with the epics, which I'm forgetting the name of that other series about with the epics and the powered individuals.
The Reckoners.
The Reckoners. Yes.
Yep.
You got it.
It is definitely a little more bubblegum fun than the Reckoners. The Reckoners very good. I've listened to or read most of Sanderson's stuff as well.
Yeah. The Brando Sandoverse, as it were, is awesome stuff. So anyway, this could very easily turn into a book club podcast, which I don't know. We should do that sometime. That'll be fun. But
we have all these ideas for like little side projects. Like there's the quiz show we were gonna do with a few others. Now there's a book club. I think there's a few other ideas we've had, and they never come to fruition. So,
make it happen. But anyway, I digress. Quick Draw, bring us back on track. What do we drag Dan in here and talk about tonight?
We forced Dan to come here and talk about first episode in our series of pet decks. We did do an intro a couple weeks ago, sort of just laying the groundwork for what we were going to do, but we are going to go through all of the sets chronologically and pick out certain people who are very passionate about decks that they've played a number of times or have a very special connection with. And since obviously we start with COTA, the first deck and person we thought of was DRSheep. And DRSheep, which deck do you think we might be talking about if we're talking about your favorite COTA decks?
My favorite COTA deck is called The Woman Who Has the Alley, but we're not here to talk about that deck.
Wait, you have a deck called The Woman Who Has the Alley?
Yes.
I have a deck that's called The Woman Who Vanishes from the Alley.
Oh, yeah,
Whoa.
that is my first Vault Tour deck that I took and made a top cut with, and that's what was what truly hooked me into Keyforge. Got that first taste of success at my first Vault Tour, and it took a long time to get back because that deck was not it.
So what deck are we going to look at then?
We are going to be talking about Admiral Inslaying the Pink Fraud.
So it's Admiral. I
Whoa,
never
whoa,
actually knew that.
I was just gonna say Admiral. I've been saying like administrator in my head this whole time. Admiral?
Sure. I mean,
hey, it's your deck.
He could be an admin, I suppose.
I always thought, I don't know. I just kind of pronounced it or said Adam, but I guess it's not Adam. I think admin is probably what I don't know. But it's you know what? It's your deck. We're gonna go with Admiral. I love that. I think it's deserving of the title of Admiral.
Admiral's good. I mean, is that like when the draws aren't coming well and you like put on your like parent voice, you're like Admiral Inslang, like is that how it comes out? You know?
No, it's just called fraud. More than that, it's just too much, right? Too much.
Even pink fraud is too much. It's just fraud.
Pink's important sometimes. It is the woman that has the alley, not who.
Okay. All right. So there's a lot of Keyforge decks featuring women in alleys apparently.
Yeah.
Who knew?
That's pretty cool.
I haven't looked at this deck, the women that has the alley, but I mean, it's got 6 likes and three funnies. That's pretty solid ratio right there, I'd say.
7.
Yeah, I think it's got enough legs. It's if it's Untamed didn't exist, it would be a good deck. But no, it has Niffle Apes.
Yeah, well, Niffle Apes get around Taunt and Elusive, so I mean, I wouldn't talk too much trash on them.
Yeah.
Single fight.
Niffle Apes, I heard, are really good in adaptive because they get around fun.
They get around fun.
they're one of those cards that appeal to the balanced folks. You know, the folks who appreciate a balanced or measured approach to the game. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You know
There's a
what?
really
Actually,
clean design, that
a
Niffler.
really
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
quick draw. Can't wait. Can't wait to bring that up. I'm sure.
It's gonna come. We can't take too long to get. We can't take too many
Yeah.
digressions and diversions
I-
from the
We're
topic.
here
do
to
have-
talk about fraud, not
I do.
all this
Can I,
other
get,
silly stuff.
can I sneak in? Can I sneak in one more tangent? Because I neglected form earlier, and I feel like I need to set the record straight. And I'm calling myself here for not knowing this, because I'm sure this is like AC lore, and I'm gonna expose my ignorance. But where does the name DRSheep come from? Are you a sheep doctor by trade at one point, or is there like a story here that I'm just not aware of? You know?
Yeah, it's the DRSheep comes from before Keyforge, a long time ago. My initials are DRS, which is why all of those are capitalized.
I was gonna ask
Mhm.
about that. I thought
Yeah.
that would be the case.
There's no doctoring involved here. And then the original gaming, like social gaming club that I was a part of way back in the day was they were called the 422nd Black Sheep.
Ah,
And
okay.
so some combination, of my initials in that. And
Excellent.
DRSheep, is a relatively unique moniker, so you don't have to fight with a lot of people to get it when you join new, different social media things. So
That's true
Wow.
too.
And the 422 coming into focus there as well. So it all makes sense. Mysteries have been solved. I like it.
yeah, actually, like the originator of that social club sadly passed away recently, and there was this large discussion between those of us who were part of it that what does the 422 actually mean? And we determined nobody knows.
Hmm.
It went to the grave with our friend.
Oh man.
Dang. Well,
I'm gonna say quick hi to the folks who are tuning in too. Hey, Azok Data Forge Stream, Dead Sync, Fluximal, Marty, Riku. Good to see you folks in the chat. Appreciate having you here. And yeah, Dead Sync saying that it's going to be a tight, sloppy mashup. I appreciate the reference there, which I'm sure. Yeah, we'll have on our list of things to do for spin-off episodes. We'll have the tight, sloppy showdown at some point. But in any event,
one more little piece of introduction before we get started. I have in my notes here that you intentionally wish to not let it be known that you're a part of any other content creation. Is that correct?
No, you said if we should talk about any other, and I said no.
So we won't. DRSheep is not a part of any other content creation. He is just a famous guest appearing on Bottom of the Beaker.
I would say he
Yes.
needs no introduction. Needs no introduction. There we go.
You're just trying to
But
make up
maybe-
for using the A word 3 times already.
I know I have making up to do, but maybe I don't know. Do we want to plug this? What was this event again? I'm blanking on the name. I'm sorry.
SAS Champions? Is that what it's called?
That Pete's running. Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Pete of Team AC, he's put together an event over on the Archon's Corner server that's called SAS Champions, and it's a interesting approach to a reason to play a bunch of decks that may not normally see the light of day, and no additional change required. So it's been pretty fantastic. But you can come in and join, and he's got a spreadsheet, and you can claim any 3 numbers by SAS. So using SAS rating of decks. So plenty of holes to abuse there when picking your decks. But you basically pick 3 SAS numbers and claim the champion of them, and then people can challenge you for that SAS number with a deck of equal SAS from any set, and you play a best of 3 because Pete likes us to sit in front of our computers for an hour and a half at a time, and then there's points. He's got some point system, and then you get points for wins, a quarter point for loss, and then at the end of the month there will be points for being the champion of different SAS numbers. So it's been fun to play a bunch of different SAS decks. And there's definitely strategy in picking your challenges from the stuff you own, because you can see what deck is currently championing a SAS and decide if you have a deck that might that might combat it. And once a deck has lost for the month, it's done for the month. So that's the other cool part is if a deck is defeated or you challenge with a deck and you lose, that deck is done. You cannot play it again for the rest of that time period.
Oh, so it's just done for the month.
I believe it's just for the month.
I thought it was forever.
Well, I like that too, but boy, don't I wish I kept all 2,000 of my pointless stacks, but instead they're all at Quick Draw's house.
They were at my house. I sold them for good money. All I had to tell people was that these came from DRSheep's house, and then they just like sold in an instant.
Well, that's good because I had them for sale for 2 years and couldn't get a single one sold.
I've played one SAS champion match so far, and it was 51 SAS. I have one of my favorite decks that's at 51. Is really cool. I played against Andy P. I won game one. I was like, great match. Thanks for playing with me. He's like, oh, it's best of three. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I proceeded to lose the next two games. So I'm with you. I like the best of one legs.
Yeah, my the best I got right now is I have a deck called JML MTL Sucks that I'm championing 78 with.
I have a couple 78s that I like, and I thought about challenging you, but I like to see that deck still sitting in there as the champion, so I haven't challenged you yet.
Yes.
Oh, hot dang! This is a marketing opportunity. I didn't even think about it. I'm gonna have to bring out my like 3 different sloppy lapwork decks and just try and park some real estate up there. You know.
I'm gonna try to bring us back around in here and tell you that fun fact, Dan, did you know that JDG, I think it was for Amber Sky's campaign, got a custom named deck named Pink Fraud?
Ooh.
So there
is it a better fraud?
It is not a better fraud.
Okay.
But he could put it in the SAS Champions tournament, and then there could be 2 Pink Frauds as champions.
Yeah, I feel like Andy has challenged Fraud, which we haven't got to talking about too much, but he has picked I believe it's a Katina Fiend talk deck, and that's going to be a tough day, I think.
Uh-oh. Well, let's hope that Pink Fraud can get a couple wins there under its belt. But let's get into it. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't you just start telling us a little bit of history? So like what drew you to the deck, or how did you was it something you opened, or you have a history with it? Tell me about your background with it.
How much history do you want on?
We can be here all night. You can share as much or as little as you like.
Well, the history as I know it is Pink Fraud was opened originally in England, and a gentleman who had opened hundreds of COTA decks, first print run era, then sold the whole collection to what at that time was Team SAS. This time I had nothing to do with SAS. Didn't know. Nobody knew this deck was going. A handful of other decks that if we looked, I know came from that collection. Bahamut, I'm pretty sure, came from that collection, which was the first Seattle Vault Tour winner and was sold again. But the guy had opened a lot of decks, and then the Team SAS bought the whole collection, and then they distributed it among their players, with Pink Fraud ending with Dunkoro, European player. He went on to win 2 Vault Tours with it, and then kind of the end of Keyforge happened in there somewhere, right?
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, so somewhere in there, I got invited to Team SAS right after Albany, the first Albany Vault Tour. Kind of junior member of the team, come in, and at that time, a lot of online leagues were running. That's when Jupiter was running his Keyforge Premier League, and there was some of that kind of stuff. And Pink Fraud was always getting played in everything then too, because it was an absolutely amazing deck in the FFG days, and it would always get claimed by like senior members of Team SAS. And I'm just a little junior guy, and I'm like, oh, I want to play that deck. When my best deck is that other one we were talking about, the Woman, which has no comparison, right?
Not those Niffle Apes.
yeah, them Niffle Apes. Um, so this deck was like, you know, well known winning deck, and even after joining the team that owns it, still don't get to play it, right?
I find that visual kind of funny, like you being like the little junior bright-eyed kid coming in to play. Can I play Pink Fraud? And everyone's like, "No, Dan, sit down."
No, you haven't earned it. Over in your corner. Go get us some water. Yes, sir.
So brief aside, I'm gonna interject here. And I'm just curious about how like other teams kind of do their thing. Is this like pretty typical? You had like a big shared pool, or was it just like this batch of decks that had came in happened to like format become like a shared deck, or was it like you hop into Team SAS and then there's a picking order sort of a thing when events run around?
Yeah. So, I don't know how your team works, but
Mm-hmm.
the teams, that I'm more or less aware of and how that is going. Generally, if you're going to an event or you're signing up for an event, you obviously anything you own, you get first choice to play it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then kind of after that, that comes down to each team's things. But generally, then there's some amount of seniority or deck preference going on for how decks will get shared if the owner of the deck is not going to be playing in that event. Um,
Cool.
and
Cool.
like fraud at that time, fraud was locked up in Europe, so it was only available for share on like the internet, the TCO based tournaments where you could verify ownership because you could put a picture with anybody's names next to it to allow them to play it, but physically needing the deck wasn't there.
And no deck clones back then either.
Right. No deck clones back then.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I imagine with team sharing, plenty of decks in history have been lost to the mail monster of some sort if you're shipping them around the country for someone else to use them. Um, Thankfully, this one was not a victim of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so within the teams I've always played in, there's been almost no deck shipping. Right.
Mm.
It's been prearranged, like for Vault Tours, it's generally prearranged at the Vault Tour before so it can be handed off in person for decks of
Mm.
higher caliber and value.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fraud has been shipped twice in its life that we know of, and that was once when they bought it, once when Team SAS bought it, and once when I bought it.
Yeah. So do you remember
Cool.
the first time that you played it?
Yeah, the first time I got to play it in an event of any importance, not just practice games, was one of the KFPL qualifiers. It's like, I think it was, I'm trying to remember, it was multiple decks, um, and you had to choose which one you're playing. It might have been survival. I don't remember all the details, but basically, I played fraud all the way up to running into one of the gentlemen who was playing the from Hildy. If you see the Hildy tag on Decks of Keyforge,
Mm-hmm.
um, probably the most ridiculous collection of FFG decks in the world. And they had access to his collection, so running into those players, and they were, playing the truly craziest stuff in the world. Um, and I had fraud, and I had a heavy disruption deck, and going into the finals, they thought for sure I was going to switch over to the heavy disruption deck because I knew their stronger deck was. We have it linked below. It's one of the arguably better Battlefleet decks in the world.
Oh.
And then I said the heck with it. I stayed with fraud, and they had jumped off of their Amber Rush deck because they assumed I was going to, and then I proceeded to fraud the snot out of them.
What, was it a Linguini
It
or
was
was it the other
glorious.
one?
This is the other one.
Okay, so that
Yeah,
would be
Olivier.
not Ms. Minity, Olivier.
Olivier. Yep.
Yeah.
Olivier.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing, Olivier, which doesn't have amber control in it, but I mean, look at that Untamed. Dust
Yeah.
Pixie, Hunting Witch, Nature's Called COTA.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's
that's
that's a dream.
pretty much perfect. Yeah. And it's got two battle fleets, but no key abduction. But that's, like you said, that's okay.
Yeah, when you're just looping COTAs.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
library access either. So, the library access, I think, is probably a pretty big part of fraud.
Mm,
You think?
library, that's one of the things with fraud. It has won Vault Tours pre and post errata.
Mm-hmm.
So it won when it could do a library access reverse time
Mm-hmm.
Right.
loop to draw a billion,
Yeah.
and bait and switch when it was actually bait and switch.
Yeah, I could see this being pretty crazy before those two errata.
Yeah, and then and it's 1 cent then too. So um, yeah, those cards are important, but not actually critical to. Uh, they're at least library access is not. It's not as critical of a piece as you might think.
Hmm. Yeah, that is interesting because I do actually have a lot of library access reverse time decks of my own. I really love that combo with the battle fleets and key abduction. And for those decks, like the library access is so important, but I think it's because they just don't have the value that Pink Fraud has, where you can live without the library access and just kind of live off of the battle fleet's key abduction or the other value that you have, like in the shadows, two routine jobs, or the interdimensional graph. There's a lot going on in here that you can lean on if the library access doesn't kind of pop off.
I actually feel like generally for library access to truly be um, a critical card for these styles of decks, you have to have the phase shift as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
And fraud does not have a phase shift, and that makes just makes library access turns flatter than um, other decks that are doing this. I got Minity, is another fraud esque deck, but that one wins off of the key or off of the library access.
Yeah. And Miss
Right.
Minity was Flaming Hobo's deck. He won, was it Philadelphia Vault Tour with it? Is that
Philadelphia, I
right?
Yep,
think.
yep,
Yep.
That was the first one in the GG era, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's the first one where I really learned a dislike for GG event organization because
So,
I went, that was the early days of true two
Yeah.
or double elimination, and I went whatever it was that day you needed 5-0, right,
Oh,
to make it to day two. My fifth round match being Devin on Minity, and then and then
so you
he
were
had to
5-0.
keep. Yeah, I was 5-0. I beat him to send him down into the play-in bracket, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
he had to wait 42 hours to play another game
Yeah.
or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And then for top 8, I had to play him again.
Yeah.
So
Um,
my it's just playing him twice in a row, and the first
that's
game I
true.
win and means I'm done, but the second game is now single elimination and I'm out. And it's just
Yeah.
like this is a frustrating situation.
Well, at least you didn't have to play until 11 p.m. that night, like I did.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That event was glad we're not there anymore.
well, hey, to their credit, they changed immediately after that event, right?
Yeah,
That was the only time that
glad that.
happened. But it was painful.
immediately.
I forget how many games I had to play that day in that 2-0 format, but I had, I think, two buys, and I didn't finish my last round game, which I lost until about 11 p.m. So, um,
I
So
think that
you
was
opened
also
a.
Ewok played the maximum number of Keyforge games for the minimum reward. Exactly the opposite of how I like to play Keyforge. I'm like, I want the minimum games for the maximum reward, and
yeah, he was
he
actually
pulled the other.
he was the one that eliminated me in the very last
It's your last
game in
round,
the
right?
2-0
Yeah.
format. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
and that
you?
was when top 8 got you nothing. So you get to top 8, and then you lose, and you got nothing.
Your prize was a lack of sleep that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You opened a
Um,
very appropriately named Vaultmaster deck from that event, if I'm remembering right. Quick draw.
I did. Yeah. It was oh my gosh. I wasn't prepared for this, but it was
Put me on the spot.
yeah, you did. Let me find it for you real quick. It was Zhao Yan
Something.
who spent 6 hours with vaults.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was the
Excellent.
first VM23 deck that I opened. One of the first ones that anyone opened, really. It's a really good deck, actually. But first thing I noticed when I opened it was the name and how I just kind of I sat there that weekend for 6 hours playing like 2 games of Keyforge. So I thought the name was very appropriate.
Mm.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to fraud. I'm actually very kind of glad, vindicated. I don't know, to hear you say that about the library access, because I do look at this deck and I'm like, I don't know, this is a library access deck, and I think that while it jumps out at you from the Archon card, um, I don't know. Maybe its job is just to kind of clear some of the logos out of the way so you can do your other stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
I don't.
that's absolutely what it is. You like your hope is if you get battle fleets early that you play your couple of battle fleets and you do your some stuff and then you have the library access reverse time. So then you can
Mm,
turn your hand effectively and reverse time, like depending on exactly where your discard is, you reverse time and then just redraw into all the Mars and do that again, or you know, you that is the when you play the reverse time and the library access are the hardest decisions you're going to make in fraud. Um,
I do love reverse time for that because there's so many situations in almost any deck with reverse time where it's like you really have to think about, do I want to play this card or not?
yeah, and I mean certainly with fraud, there have been times where you play 8 of the shadows cards and you have reverse time and you're actually almost more excited than the Mars.
Hmm.
Against certain decks where you're just like, oh, I get all the little creature control and all the steel back, and I just do that twice in a row, and that's more tempo than most decks can handle.
Yeah. Yeah. There's only 17 pips, but there's a lot of other cards in there that gain you amber one way or another. So I could see that. And it seems like it's a very one of those decks where you kind of play what's dealt to you and what you're given, you kind of have to adapt what you might do. Like you're talking about whether or not you want to play the reverse time. Do you want to go back into the Mars with it? Do you want to go back into the shadows with it? So whatever's presented to you by fraud, you kind of have to make sure that you are taking advantage of what's given to you and you're not just kind of playing the same line every time. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Fraud has sort of answers to everything except really big board. Really big board, it doesn't have any meaningful answers to. Critical creature boards it can deal with, but just token spam is pretty hard because it has no true board clear.
Hmm.
So knowing, you got to be able to evaluate those decisions on, do you need to be playing to have creature control at the right time, or are you playing against rush and you need amber control because you have both of those things, but amber control is a little more robust. But having that stuff when you need it and not um, playing a card for sub value in critical matches is really important, and it's actually another place where fraud's amber control is pretty potent, and with reverse time and the speed of it, you can recycle a lot of that stuff. So playing them for low value is often fine as long as you're not looking at third key. But going into first key and even second key often, just turning turning shadows cards so you get a bigger logos or a bigger Mars turn.
mm,
The tempo set is worth more than the potential one or two steal. And definitely as I watch other people play this, they will hold a second routine job or a nerve blast because there isn't something to steal with it. And I mean, it's a rare day that I would make that decision with this deck.
Because you want either like 6 Mars cards with the battle fleets or 6 Logos cards with the library access, right?
I mean, those are the best things you can get.
Yeah. But holding
Um,
shadows cards is what you mean is not helping you get to the best situation you can with those.
right, because this deck is very short on creatures, and shadows being real bad. Right, Carlo Phantom, Dodger, and Urchin.
Yeah.
So like you're not coming back to shadows to do things.
Hmm. Did you say that this was a first print run, COTA?
Oh yeah, this is definitely first Coda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 3 creatures in Mars and 3 in Shadows, which I think was the actual minimum after the first print run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe you are correct there. Yeah.
So it's not one of those first print run that only has 2 creatures, but I
Yeah,
think
it has none of the unique identifiers of a first print run.
yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, 12 creatures, even if it comes above the floor, there is not a huge presence indeed. And yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that, but you know, two of the three creatures in shadows clocking in at 1 power. Yeah, does make you think that holding that routine job so that you can call shadows again is maybe not great. Interesting.
Yeah, definitely not a thing. And that's another place that Fraud has played strongly into the when capture meta was stronger,
Mm.
and the GR, your opponent's creatures capture everything meta. You just quit playing creatures because you don't need them,
Yeah.
and then their amber control is dead, and that's really
Yeah. There's just enough value
can be really
in the
effective.
pips. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So how many
no
games have you
answer
played
to
with this
believe.
deck?
Over 650. You got the exact number there on the spreadsheet. I'm not looking at it at the moment.
Your TCO stat you sent us was 686.
So 687 because I played another one since then.
Okay. And did you win
Um,
that one?
I did not.
Okay. I was going to say if you played 687, that would increase your win percentage to 68.7. It might have you might still be rounding up, but that's an interesting little set of numbers right there. 687, 687.
Yeah. So a lot of games on a lot of games on TCO. I remember there was a time um, when I wouldn't play Fraud into just any games on competitive because even in competitive people get salty about it. But then basically since GR has been around, I always feel like I'm the underdog coming into these matches
Yeah.
anyways. So I don't think twice about it. I have no guilt about being like, oh, I'm bringing such a powerful deck into random games. It does not feel that way anymore.
Have you ever brought it into a casual on TCO?
Oh, certainly not. Not that I can think of.
Maybe by accident if you did a quick join or something like that.
Yeah, so don't use quick join.
Okay,
Don't
me
use
either.
quick join. I have like 3 decks that I will play in casual if I am truly desperate for a game of Keyforge. They're pretty bad. Um, yeah. So
But you do play this deck in like every format. You actually have some alliance titles with it as well. Is that right?
actually, that's Big Z. Big Z took this thing to third in Alliance.
Okay. Didn't you win Canadian Nationals Alliance with this?
That was
No,
Archon.
I won Canadian Nationals Alliance the same weekend that I won Canadian Nationals Archon with this, but I did not play
Okay.
Fraud in Alliance.
Okay.
I scholar spammed that one.
Hmm.
Mm.
Classic.
And
Yeah.
if I'm remembering right, that Archon, was it Archon finals or was it a semifinal game against JDG? I want to say it was the finals match against JDG, and you played the Pink Fraud versus Chandra matchup. Or am I totally misremembering that?
I am
I
letting
may be
my brain
misremembering.
roll to what didn't is that where I had to play Becky?
If it was
Perhaps.
Becky, then it would have been. I
But
mean,
no, that was in a semifinal because I played June in the finals of Alliance.
I didn't know that June went to Canadian Nationals that year.
Yes, she did.
So there was a lot of FFG decks then there. If there was Chandra and Becky and Fraud, and was that
Yep.
during the WoW era or was that GR?
That would have had to have been WoW area. WoW era.
Yeah.
Unless I'm totally misremembering, but I want to say it was Josh in the finals with you there, but I could be way off. Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't want to sound disrespectful by any means, but so many events at this point that I cannot for the life of me remember.
It's okay. We're all getting
them
old.
all.
It's fine. You know.
I mean,
Very
in addition
helpful.
to the nearing 700 there, I have over 100 100 in-person games, and probably 60 of them are Vault Tour level games,
Hmm.
Yeah.
or like in person. I played it in a lot of events.
Do you
So
find
very,
it harder or easier to play in person compared to online?
Oh, I mean, online you get the quick count of what's in your deck and what's in your discard for reverse time, so that saves a little bit of mental load. But there's actually some one of the things that I highly like about Fraud for competitive play is it is not the most difficult deck to play. Um, it's not the easiest deck to play by any means, but it is not the most difficult deck, which means you can definitely save some brain power over the course of a vault tour, right? You're not you rarely get yourself in those situations where you have to really think about how you're going to get out of it. I mean, it's COTA. Like your options are fairly straightforward.
Take notes,
Push
Sheep.
for more. It is like push for more amber or push for more amber, right? And if pushing for more amber isn't going to win the game, then you're probably already in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, JT likes to play the games with the mega brain power required for them. So
I mean,
I mean, I enjoy brain power games, but not when I have to line up potentially five of them back to back.
it is a real consideration. I think we've talked about it before about kind of preparing for Vault Tours and Premier level events and picking a deck that you think not only is good enough to get you through 6 games in one day, but also that your brain can handle 6 games in one day.
Yeah, and the in some ways the meta is not super diverse, but at the same time the intricacies of the different decks that are out there are actually pretty intense to think about. The amount of board strength that varies in the PV decks. Some are just straight disruption, but some of them can actually build a board and being able to analyze all that kind of stuff and figure out each game. And
Sure.
takes a lot of work.
Yeah. Um, you mentioned tempo earlier. Are you kind of like a tempo player normally, or does this deck kind of speak to your specific style that you enjoy as a player?
Yes, I like turning cards. The more card turn in a game is good. So era, there's a lot of decks that I enjoyed because they that had a lot of fun, interesting tempo. Um, with archives, I love archiving. This deck doesn't do a lot of archiving, but it does have without draw pips. It does move a lot of cards, and you get one of those turns where you land 3 or 4 logos creatures, and you get to use them the next turn. And this deck's fraud really ramps out very quickly if it can get a 10 card hand.
Hmm.
Right? If you get a chance between archives and extra draw to have a 10 card hand, it's that extra comboiness and filtering just turns into so much gas because of the double battle fleets.
Yeah. So the only archiving in here is the lab work, the Ganymede Archivist, and then the Research Smoko, which is a random. So, um,
Yep.
do you do you value that lab work even more when you're able to, play the lab work, reverse time, play the lab work again on a library access turn?
Yeah. The that's one of the more fun starts is when you have your reverse time and your library access and your lab work in your starting hand, and you can archive 2 cards right off the bat and potentially make a bunch of amber. I know a lot of people see that and they think, "Oh, you want your wild wormhole," but because this deck doesn't have enough additional draw stuff through multiple wild wormholes or um, the phase shifts, like that one extra card that's often not logos and not a creature because there's not that many, it'll actually choke up that flip on reverse time, and then that's the card you draw, and then you've run out of Logos cards, and then you almost clog yourself, because then you end your turn, they kill all your Logos creatures you played if you had any, and then you play your off house, and then you draw those Logos cards back again. And it's just this thing. So the Wild Wormhole is actually an interesting thing in that early timing. It's a risk. It's at that point in the early game that it's actually almost a risk to play it. Typically, with library access, you want the Wild Wormhole, but when you're doing it at the beginning with the reverse time, I've had so many bad things where I hit you either hit you're hitting your squawkers, or you're hitting your creature control stuff in shadows, and then when you flip, and that's the first card you draw after you flip, and then your loop is done. What little loop you can get.
So if you had an opening hand of library access, reverse time, and lab work, and then 3 non-Logos cards, and let's say you're going second, do you keep that and just go straight into library access?
Absolutely.
Because most people would try to handcraft a bit more Logos before going into it.
Nah, as long as I got the lab work and you're not playing against a deck that beats your archives up, the efficiency is better played. I actually had that starting hand, but I was going first, and those were my 3 Logos cards. And then whatever else I had, which was a bunch of other actions, I actually just did nothing on turn 1. Just nothing. I just said, okay, you can go. They're like, no, you're going first. I'm like, I understand, but I'm doing nothing. I think I might have had my Spectral Tunneler too, but I chose to keep it for the draw instead of just dumping it, because the way I was playing in my library access, it's worth more holding it for the.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
I don't know that I have. That's fun.
Where it's actually a strategically sound decision to just pass your first turn without doing anything.
Yeah,
it's like a achievement unlocked moment for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but I was able to get to 6 amber on turn 1, and that led to a difficult game for the opponent.
Turn 2, come on now.
Yeah, turn 2.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's almost like turn 1 didn't
Keep me
happen,
honest.
So.
Keep me honest.
Yeah. So what else is there? The rest of the story of Fraud is Duncoro decided to buy a house and quit Keyforge, and it was impossible within the team to agree on a value. Right? It's a baseline value was easy to determine, but what somebody would actually pay for it, so that's why it went to auction. And then the rest. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Finish the story.
And the rest of that story is I had a fixed budget, which was not $3,600 that I wanted to spend, but a particular Texan friend of mine was like, "Well, we should go higher. We don't want to let this get away, so I'll help pay for the other half of it." So we just kept bidding like fools. And at fools, and then we won it for $3,600, right? And it's like, okay, we're each gonna pay half for it, and we'll figure out what we're doing from here, right? And then I'm setting up I'm like, okay, buddy, you gotta send me the money. So I paid Donkey. He's like, oh, I can only send you $1,000 today. Ooh. And I'm like, you're on for 18, and he's like, well, whatever. I mean,
and you haven't talked to him since.
Oh no, not that bad. But I ended up paying, so I send the money, get the deck, and I'm playing it, and it's just at some point I was like, that was when a lot of fire sale decks, so I was, made some money through fire sale decks because I bought a lot of them and sat on them until they were selling for $100 a box again.
You sat on the sealed ones.
Yeah. Still sitting on some.
Same.
Yeah. So my Keyforge slush fund was pretty healthy. Had been that was when decks were actually moving around a little bit.
I was going to say that too. The secondary market then was somewhat
much better than it is currently.
Yeah.
So I just the slush fund was big enough. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give you your $1,000 back and just live with this bad decision and the story, because already at that point, the story of having the deck was worth an amount of money.
It's a great
And
story. That's why we wanted to
yeah,
have you here.
and I have a bad relationship with what I consider fake money, which my Keyforge slush fund is fake money. It's like I spend an amount on my hobby, and that's just spent money, right? But then, through the online leagues we ran and stuff, sold a lot of decks in that account. I was just like, well, that account's paid for itself. The original investment's been paid back, and all this money is just from reselling stuff. So whatever, I'll let the money go and don't worry about it too much.
I used to keep track of how much I've spent on Keyforge and how much I made on selling things, and then I just gave up. So I'm just going to call it even now.
I am pretty negative for sure.
No, I mean, that's what I mean. I'm lying to myself, but
I've definitely contributed to the sheep slush fund. I don't know if you know this, Quick Draw, or remember, but one of my absolute favorite decks, Brickblade, the Commander's Guildhall, was a Dr. Sheep deck that I acquired.
I didn't know that.
Sometime.
That was that has a very cool double in it. Double punk.
Double punk. Double punk, triple Kirby. Yeah, very cool.
That was open from a fire sale box.
Wow, that's cool.
That was the best one opened out of all that stuff.
Dan, did you know that deck at some point in time, like a year or two ago, had the highest efficiency of any FFG deck that did not have logos in it?
This is definitely not a fact I know, but I do remember that I ran into that deck playing a different double puncture. Maybe, or was I playing Brickblade and I ran into the other double punk deck?
I'm going to bet that you ran into Player Herp playing his double punk deck in an ABR at some point, and I feel like I saw that match played. I remember seeing this match played, and I was like, I need to get me a triple Kirby double punk deck. And then you listed this deck, and I was like, I need to have it. Yes.
It was a ton of fun, but not a Vault Tour deck, right?
Yeah.
But a ton of fun.
And then, contributed to the pink fraud of Slush Fund.
Yeah.
I guess, so.
There's definitely some of that going on.
So here we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, so are you playing Pink Fraud in any Vault Tours this year?
Boy, I don't even know what I'm going to make for Vault Tours this year. They pulled all our Midwest ones. Our expectation is to go to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
As we mentioned here, fraud when purchased was still very strong, not worth $3,600 strong. I think, $2,500 was kind of top play value, but then there was the history value of fraud that kept its price higher than it should be. And it's still, it's the only deck that has 3 Vault Tour wins. So if you include FFG ones, so it's, it still carries some amount of for me for that. There's other decks that have definitely done as well. Gear Song's got 2 Vault Tours and a World Championship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I believe at the time of the purchase, there were still cash prizes at Vault Tours, right?
Actually, this was purchased before cash prizes were announced.
Oh, all right.
So that's an interesting, right, to spend that much. But it was after Ghost Galaxies had purchased the game, so we believed that there was a future at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, Gear Song I hadn't thought about, but I was trying to think of other kind of iconic COTA decks, and I mean I'm not just saying this because you're here talking to us. I definitely think Pink Fraud is like the iconic COTA deck. I'm sure you could find. I mean, there are stronger ones you could argue, but I think it's the most iconic certainly. So that's got I mean, you could make a case for like I don't know Gas Max maybe, but I think
Gas Max has suffered more than Fraud has in the current meta. But yeah, Gas 100%. Max double winner, and then the double Time Traveler deck.
Ooh, I don't know the name.
That one, Barracks Launch.
I don't think I know that one.
I don't know that. I
Yeah,
don't know
is
by
that
by
one
name.
like the very first Vault tour, and then she won a second one with it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I do remember Everlasting Linguini, which is one of the ones you mentioned as a doppelganger. Everlasting Linguini has 3 battle fleets, 2 key abductions,
Yeah.
um, which is just insane. Um,
Is that a deck that its actual location is not known? I'm not sure
I
about that
think
one,
that's the case.
but it does actually have plays on it.
Oh yeah, it's got OP.
Like,
It has an OP record, and it has I don't know. I was checking my records before, against Pink Fraud, against Linguini and Olivier here, and like I have matches against randos on TCO with all of these
oh, for
decks.
sure. What
Yeah.
was the other for the longest time the highest SAS deck?
Vroom Route Navigator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is a
Mhm.
deck that the location of is unknown. I believe,
yeah.
like nobody's where that's in some kid's shoebox and in the back
And you just run
of
into
a
people
closet.
playing it on TCO. Used to all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
It was the other box of 100 decks or whatever that didn't make it over from England. That's next to
Yeah,
Pink
I
Fraud.
mean, it got scanned in,
It
but
got scanned. Yeah.
Is
then
there
that's
any
the
way
end
in
of it.
in I don't know what all the rules are for GG at the moment. Like, could someone feasibly say that they like have that deck and lost and get a clone, or is that not even on the table unless you actually have it?
Oof. Wow.
I mean, my understanding is you have to be. It has to have been scanned into new Master Vault to be able to be clonable. So
Okay.
even if you had it in your old Master Vault, Legacy, whatever, don't believe those are.
I
Don't
rescanned
believe you can
everything
do
like a
anything.
fool whenever they did that whole thing. Um, Wasted a lot of time. I did
Yeah.
not have any reason to do that, but yeah, that's a shame. That's all the stuff that has been lost now. I get sentimental about it. I don't. I know you're a big fan of Shredder. I don't play Shredder because I'm like, what if I want to play this deck sometime and it could be gone forever? And that would, I don't know. I can't do that.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm?
It looks like decks that are in your vintage list that you haven't rescanned do show up as being addable.
Huh.
Huh. So if
You,
someone could find out who owned these kind of decks and somehow buy their access to their master vault,
yeah.
you could do it.
Hmm.
As I'm just thinking, like my legacy deck list, right, is almost 1900 decks. I physically only have like 250 decks anymore
Oh man,
because
ridiculous.
I've never once come into the master vault and cleaned out stuff that I got rid of.
Hmm.
Yeah, like if we, if somebody with the new ownership, if stuff that's been on the new side of it has been claimed by somebody, it's gone.
Right. But
Sure.
anything you sold before that master vault
Yeah.
ownership is still
Yeah,
Why
yours.
which
why would
makes
you?
me. I
Yeah.
mean, like I wonder of these 1800 decks that I have, at least. I wonder how. That's just an interest to think about. Is there stuff that's in my legacy collection that is also in somebody's active collection, and I could order a clone of it? I don't even know how I
Hmm.
would check that.
That's a really good question.
That's another day thing.
um, well, I want to talk, kind of wrap up things with Pink Fraud. Is there anything else that you would want other people to know about it that they probably don't already know? Because obviously it's one of the most famous decks in Keyforge, but is there something else that's kind of like not as well known about it?
Uh yeah. So trying to think of other things that are not well known. I think it's people who've played the game know it. Um, I don't think there's that much surprise. A lot of people, when you sit down and play, they're expecting 4 routine jobs for some reason.
Only two is a little disappointing.
Yeah, that's another one of those things. 4 routine jobs, and this would really turn it up a notch. Having that much steel, but it's not there. No, I think the only what's the other things that there is about fraud? It's for sale. You could now own the most storied deck in Keyforge.
I tried
But
to offer you $34.57 for it, but Decks of Keyforge does not allow you to offer cents. It's just like straight up dollar amounts.
Uh,
So I was not
and
about to
then,
offer you 3,457. So no,
well, I don't know if I'd let you have it anyways.
that's all right. I appreciate
You
that.
you like doom it to a life of
I played it in
life.
Kagi.
Yeah. I mean, I play it in Keggy too, so that's okay. Yeah. What else is there? If you see me at a vault tour, and you want to play it, pretty much all you gotta do is ask.
speaking of,
I've loaned it out several times to just people wanna have a go.
I was gonna say, speaking of Kagi, I noticed in our notes here there was a question of what formats do you like to play it in, and your answer was a very pointed, any official GG format, which I really appreciated, and I will note too that I have seen you play this deck in adaptive games, but the question was, which formats do you like to play it in?
Yeah, I
Uh,
it never makes a triad. Um,
huh.
It's
Doesn't
not
make you
good enough for Triad.
no, I don't own anything else good enough to pair with it.
Wow.
It
Interesting.
has made a
I mean,
triad when I've in something where I had other people's decks, and then it's band bait sometimes in that regard. Um, because you just know there's so many plays on it that they know what to do with it. So you got to ban those kinds of decks.
Right.
That's often my strategy when banning in triad is I look at the three decks and whichever one they have the most plays on, that's the one that gets the ban.
Our team rule is the number of hearts. Whichever deck has the
Yeah,
most hearts
that's
in their lineup, just ban it. It's pretty tried and
number
true rule. I think we've had
number of
some
hearts,
decent
and
success
then
with that.
any deck that's for sale, you can't ban. You got to make them play the decks they're trying to sell. So,
yeah.
so that'd be tough. But yeah,
Yeah, so it's definitely made those formats. You know, I pretty much play it anywhere that it fits in without being silly. I do like to bring it to adaptive, and bid a ridiculous amount of change to where I have no cards or nearly no cards.
For about
Um,
20 turns.
yes, yeah, because
Hey, at least you're playing. At least you're playing adaptive. I mean,
I mean I'm letting my opponent play.
they're having a great time. I'm sure.
Well, we're getting a story out of it, and that's something. Uh,
That's what we're all here for. We're here for
yeah,
stories.
actually, like winning is not my major consideration actually. Um, Going into any game, like it should be enjoyable or interesting. Uh, so yeah, I don't get hung up about matches being unwinnable in Keyforge because that is how this game goes. You are going to sit down to matches where you are just outclassed that day, and you're not going to pull out that win, and that's fine. Like totally comfortable and okay with that because the amount of work that needs to be put in up front for that result, I think is comparable, right? Like because I didn't have to spend ridiculous amounts of time prepping for this game, the fact that it might just not go my way is just okay.
I'm envious of your outlook on that. I'm too competitive, and you know, I can't. Even though I've not had anywhere close to the success you've had in vault tours and major events like that, I still have like this competitive nature in me where I'm going to these events and I want to win in them. I guess more recently I've tried to take an approach of like play a deck that I'm going to have fun with, and I've enjoyed events much more when I do that. If I just pick a deck where I'm like, I'm just going to have fun with this, I don't expect to win with it. Um, to me, that's been more enjoyable lately with a lot of the meta that's happened the last like year and a half, 2 years.
I mean, this current meta is I don't actually find that much joy in playing the highest competitive Keyforge right now. Um, Yeah. So
Yeah, might as well have fun if you're gonna lose, right?
yeah.
No,
Well, yeah. I mean, like I'm kind of on the if you don't play Archon, you don't play Archon, you don't worry about it.
We're seeing things like the SAS Champion outlets, as outlets to get some of these other like matches that are going to be competitive, but maybe a little bit of a cup below, and get some of these other decks some love. So hey, that's cool.
and
That's cool.
Dan, you did you win the last minors side event that we had?
I did outgrind all of you in the mine.
You did, and so Not Tonight has a rule where the winner gets to choose the starting number for the next minors league.
94.
Yep. I answered that with a GIF.
Oh, I didn't see the answer. What was the answer? Okay, all right, because she said there was a max, right? There was a
70 was the max.
70 was the max. Okay, so you couldn't say 94
No,
just for the hope of pulling Pink Fraud in a minors match someday.
yeah. No, actually, the most frustrating part I had in minors is I have one on-chain deck that's in that SAS range that was getting played, and it just kept getting pulled. I'm
There's
like,
an
I
answer
should
for
just
that.
delete this garbage.
No, there is already a technical solution that JT built.
I should make it the default, but you can say, only the tournament legal decks, please. There's one of the flags you can pass along to it. So that is an option, though. It really should be the default. I just haven't done it, but I don't know. I feel you. Every once in a while, I'll take a poll on the old raw slot machine and end up with a silver bordered deck and just be like, yeah, try again. Not what I wanted. Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know why I still own it because it is not a deck that has any interest to me. I just haven't moved it from a pile over there to a pile that needs to go somewhere else. It's too depressing even to look at those decks.
If you got any Maverick Whirlpools in there, just
nothing that interesting.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if I get a Maverick Whirlpool, I'll shred it live for you.
Oh no. I'm afraid that's all we have time for tonight, folks. You were welcome all night until now.
That would be some fighting words. Yeah, it'd be like, this is a war declaration. I like it. Giving Dan ideas for the AC April Fool's episode now. So. Actually, question for you, Dan. How do you feel about playing decks post shredding? Is that kind of like defeat the? Because I see it happen. You're like, oh, I'll still play it online, or like I shredded it, but maybe I'll order a clone. I feel like if you're gonna do it, you gotta be like, you gotta kind of like commit to the, I don't know, the soul of the format, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, mine. Those Archon. I don't even save the Archon cards. Decks go to the shredder. They are gone. They are to never see the light of day again. I am increasing the value of the rest of your collection by reducing the number of decks out there.
Wow.
I mean,
I am performing a service.
Work. Yes. I don't know if I can stomach it, but you're doing the Lord's work. There you go. Nice. Cool. Well, guys, I don't know any other things we want to hit on for Pink Fraud here. I think this is obviously one of the most, I don't know, heralded, accoladed, storied decks in Keyforge. So I'm like, very much appreciate you coming on to talk with us about it. But yeah, anything else we want to hit on here before we kind of wrap things up?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you guys wanted. You on your list of accolades? It's got a bunch of them.
Looks like 5 that you sent us.
Yeah, there's 5 because you can't top cutting multiple times doesn't earn it anything.
So, I have to send a note to the Arcana folks. They may just be not up to date. The page. I hope Dead Stink's still here because I did look up Pink Fraud over there as well, and I'm going to compare it to the list that we have on the Master Vault. So Pink Fraud comes in on AA with, it's loading. we've got there listed a top 4 in Krakow, top 4, or a first in Madrid, first in Nuremberg, and those were Dunkoro's results, if I'm remembering correctly.
Correct.
And then, yeah, accolades over on the Master Ball itself. You've got a 2024 contender, 2023 contender, and then you've got the Canadian champion for Archon, and then the Alliance contender. I believe this is also.
I don't think that's Alliance. I think that's another Archon contender.
No, that's that was I played.
Yeah.
It played Archon 23 and 24 Worlds. I didn't make a seat in 25. Nobody chose to use it to play in 25. That's a little sad for me. Because it made 5th and top 8 in Worlds the 2 years it was played. So it's done reasonably well at Worlds. It's made top 8 in every season of Keyforge.
Have you played it into much PV? I'm curious how it kind of holds up.
I made top 8 at Vegas.
There you go. All right.
And that top 8 loss was heartbreaking because I had beat the first and second place Vegas decks in my way to top 8, and then got that PV, a 1 in 3 chance 4 times in a row hit right loss kind of thing. Yeah, which is what PV can do. No, it was. I don't know. I told the story before. I don't remember exactly what it was going on to that. That was Turgeon, which was one of Sydney's decks that was borrowed to another repo player. It's just the way it came out. It got me, and that's how that goes sometimes. So, which it was a little heartbreaking because I'd done so well against the other top PV decks, and then to get beat at top 8 where I felt like I had a very strong chance to make it to the final table, if not potentially win. But got beat. So yeah, it still definitely wins versus PV. My win percentage is down from 71 to like what I was 67 something.
Yeah, around there.
So it is down a few percentage points since PV, which means it's actually lost quite a lot into PV for it to be going down with 600 games on it. But it still wins against PV. I have not been offered another deck that I feel is significantly higher advantaged than Fraud in open competition.
Even among PV decks too.
Well, no, I've not been offered a PV deck that I think is better advantage than Fraud.
Wow.
And I don't love playing PV, so.
Yeah, that's fair. I mentioned one of my decks earlier with the double battle fleet key abduction library access, and it seems to actually kind of hold its own in a lot of PV matchups. And I think that kind of combo. Actually, that reminds me of another question for you in a second. That kind of combo still works decently well against PV as long as you can avoid like the disruption of the archive disruption and the hand disruption hitting the key pieces. But do you consider Pink Fraud to be a combo deck?
No, it is not a combo deck. Like, you handcraft to fire a big battle fleet, but most games Fraud wins. It doesn't even forge a key with key abduction.
It's just the value.
It's just the value. It's just all amber, all push. But it does have that high roll kind of potential life, which is what puts it in that ability to beat even the best PV decks in the world.
Yeah.
Right, because it does have a very high potential. But it's just midline amber push is high enough to get the job done most of the time.
Do you have an archetype descriptor that you would use to describe it?
Like I said, Fraud's it's a tempo deck with a solid amber control plan. And it, like The key cheat is there, which is meaningful in some games. I said it is it's not a toolbox deck in the way the deck JT was talking about, but it is a toolbox deck in that it can answer most situations um, enough to finish its game plan, but it doesn't have closed down responses. It's just got a little bit of everything. So generally, whatever they're bringing to the table can be stalled and moved around just enough for your amber game to get you over the end. But yeah, it's an efficiency tempo deck with just enough stuff to keep people from being able to overrun you in one direction.
Yeah,
I have to say too, I had one fun story about this deck. I don't know, I may be wrong here. Was Dunkoro a Polish player, or am I misremembering that too? Anyway, doesn't matter. I think this is a deck that
it's from one of them cold northern places. Yeah,
I was thinking Polish as well. Yeah.
I think I remember talking to Not Tonight about this deck, and this was the deck that was used to kind of convince her of how good Martians make bad allies can be. Because I think it's a card that a lot of people just kind of see and they're like, oh, it's Mars art, some text, I don't know, but discard it most of the time.
Such a bad card in other decks and such a monster card in Fraud.
Totally. I love this. I mean, so I'm assuming you play it often. The story that I got was that it's actually great here, and this is like really plays into what it wants to do.
Yeah, that the double battle fleet when you miss, but you just draw all your logos creatures and then just purge them all away for amber is a ton of efficiency there. That is, that's the worst draw Fraud gets is a couple Logos creatures, then a couple of Shadows card, then a couple of Logos creatures after they killed your two Logos creatures. And you're just making no progress. And often Martians make bad allies. Is great for that. It's also really amazing. You're on the play, your 7-card hand, and you're purging 3. Sometimes you have it, and you're able to purge 3-4 creatures, gain 3 amber, and then you're just turning your deck because it doesn't purge your Mars cards. So then it just turns your deck into even more likely to have the Mars efficiency loop you around again and again.
I imagine you got to be afraid of things like Infernus, though, if you're trying to count on battle fleets multiple times through.
When you get it and it works, it's great. But again, the amber push that's in Fraud, and it's all single amber pips. A couple of squawkers is enough amber gain over the top of the pips that, short of heavy Infernus recursion, is what it is, right? Like, it's the F efficiency you're getting from the battle fleets compensates for them getting rid of it. It's sad, but typical games, you're not actually winning on the flip. You're winning before the flip. So let them purge stuff.
Yep. No, I like that. All single pips. I mean, look at the stats of this deck, right? I mean, I don't think we even kind of said that out loud here, but I mean, it just presents as very well-rounded, very efficient. You've got 14 amber control. You've got some artifact control in the EMP blast. Am I remembering that right? Yeah, EMP blast.
Yeah.
29 expected amber, 10 on the creature controls, maybe light, but with your efficiency and just what you need the amber control, or what you need the creature control to be doing, right? Not necessarily like crushing down, but giving you time. As you've said, it's more of a tempo deck than anything else. And if that's what you need to be doing, bouncing stuff with lights out or smashing some creatures with orbital bombardment, in a targeted way as opposed to like a let me like lock down the board sort of way, then you're kind of getting it done. And 17 nuggets, right? 17 nuggets, even without doing much else, if you just play your deck all the way through, you're kind of at 3 keys, and you're going to do that very quickly a lot of the time with all that efficiency. I've
right,
not
because
faced this.
17 nuggets doesn't address that, how many of those cards are stealing too.
Right, because you've got the double routine job, the urchin, and maybe Darja gets in there for a swing.
Right, that's actual 17 printed amber.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And where was I going? So like the times when I've played against this deck, it's almost like that joke about the Yankees, right? Like they lose because everybody's distracted by the stripe. They always win because people are distracted by the pinstripes. It's like people are looking at this deck and they're like, oh, the battle fleet's going to combo out, or the library axis is going to combo out, but then they just lose to a very good, efficient tempo deck that made a lot of amber, played a lot of pips, and moved a lot of cards. And they're like, oh, the battle fleet like OTK didn't happen. I just lost, and that's been my experience on the receiving end of this deck every time I've played it. Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of, there's a lot of 3-2 wins with this deck. When it doesn't do crazy things, when battle fleets don't lead into battle fleets, or library access just comes up at the wrong time. But yeah, just general amber control. Though what I did get, my game where I got destroyed today, I had disabled security played against me like 3 or 4 times. And the first time they got my library access, I went on to like a 10-card turn. I'm like, oh boy.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah, not for me, it wasn't.
No, but you had to have appreciated that, right? Like,
Oh yeah, no, that was.
You said you go into games looking for like, something
cool.
fun to happen, or And
so hang on.
Oh yeah, no, that was cool to watch happen. And it's just like, and then his disabled security. Then does that, plays my library access, and then the first card after that is ZYX researcher, just to archive the disabled security. Like, yeah, this is going great, guys. Great.
Wow. Ideal scenario. So okay, rules question. Are you still in the window where you get to draw from the disabled security, that library access for the disabled security itself, or do you not get that draw from the disabled security?
Yes, you do get the draw, because it's like if you
right?
wormhole into your library access,
Mm-hmm.
you can take the draw for wild wormhole after library access is done resolving.
Yeah, I think so. That's
because wild wormhole is that interesting one. You play wild wormhole, and then you have the choice to draw the card for wild wormhole, or play the top card of your deck. And then if you choose not to draw, then you play the top card of your deck, draw a card for playing the top card of your deck, and then finish resolving the wild wormhole window to draw the card for playing wild wormhole.
Yeah.
Although you typically do it in the reverse order. You want to draw the card first, just in case wild wormhole hits a battle fleet. You want to give yourself optimal, maximum Mars cards in that situation. So you almost always draw, then resolve the wild wormhole's play effect, and then draw again.
That is an interesting point. I actually never considered that, because normally whenever I have those library access wild wormhole decks, I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just like same chance of drawing another logos. But I'm looking at one of the decks that I was mentioning earlier. It has the library access with 2 wild wormholes and 2 battle fleets and a key abduction. And I don't think I'd ever considered that before, of playing the wormhole and drawing with it first in case I hit a battle fleet. So that's a good note.
Yeah, the other one is deciding when pawn sacrifice is still in the deck, because that's the other one that hits your own stuff. So thinking about, do I want pawn sacrifice to kill one of my creatures, or don't I?
Yep. Yeah, not too many dangerous plays though. There's like you were mentioning, there are times when you have to be a little bit careful. Got a question for you too, from Tootin' Carnage here in the chat, saying that 5 people have marked this deck as funny, and their question was, "What's wrong with these people?" But I don't know. What's the funny thing here?
What's the funny thing is some dummy spent $3,600 on it. That's the funny part of this deck.
Well, 93 people with the hearts, I don't know, they're in your favor there, so I guess there's that too.
I'm number 93. I've never seen one get to 100, so I just liked it tonight. I don't like very many decks that are not my own. So.
Oh man, now you're making me feel awkward. All right, I'm throwing a number 94. All right,
We're gonna get this to 100 by the time this podcast airs.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know if I've marked too many decks as funny. Oh, now 6 funny. All right, so we're at 100 combined. Okay, all right. Stock's going up. Stock's going up. I feel like we're owed some royalty if the bin hits on this.
I mean, I haven't even marked Fraud as one of my favorite decks. So.
You need no introduction, even with the hearts, right? So it's not necessary. Yeah. Administrator in stocks. Yeah, in stocks. Absolutely. That's cool. Nice. Man, I don't know. I'm looking through our notes here too, and I know we got work in the morning, but yeah. Anything else? Anything else we got? Any nuggets? Any nuggets? Tussles? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm excited to see what you dig up for AOA, as I'm an AOA apologist.
Okay.
I have my dumb love for AOA, where you guys have your weird fetch with DT. I find AOA is another set where the fun in the wonky efficiency is what's fun. It's not the straight gas efficiency that other sets have, but it's there if you can find it and make it work, which makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally.
We have some very good applications that have been put in for a lot of sets and decks that people wanted to share. There's still time if you have some of your own pet decks and you're listening and you want to submit it. We'll drop that link once again into the show notes, and I can drop it in the chat now in a moment. But yeah, let us know if there's any other pet decks that you have out there that you want to share with the rest of the Keyforge world.
Right on. All right, cool. Well, with that having been said, I think we got to keep the lights on over here in the lab, so we'll get a note from our sponsors, and then we'll see how we're doing after that. This episode of Bottom of the Beaker, folks, is brought to you by A Gift in Amber, the Crucible's premier keepsake preservation service, turning your most treasured mementos into timeless works of wearable art. Using their patented fast fossil fusion technique, the artisans at A Gift in Amber can take small things that matter most, a child's first tooth, a lock of hair, a favorite game piece, or the last claw of a beloved house pet, and encase them forever in luminous golden amber. Rings, pendants, earrings, brooches, whatever brings the memory closest to your heart, because on the Crucible, nothing lasts forever, but with A Gift in Amber, it comes pretty close. Quick Draw, do you have anything that you would tuck into A Gift in Amber and maybe give it to a loved one? Maybe give it to the good DRSheep? I don't know.
Plenty of different Keyforge decks I think would be very appropriate. It's actually quite a good idea, to be honest with you. That's something that could show up on Etsy and actually make some money.
Hey, there you go. Well,
can they fit a complete Ewok?
Ooh,
yeah,
I don't know about a complete Ewok, but maybe a junior. So
I mean, I want a complete Ewok, and then I want to wear it as a necklace.
There you go. You need 2 though. That's kind of their thing, right? So you need to have 2 nuggets for 2 amber. I don't know. Anyway, 2 sacrifices. And folks, I should also let you know that Bottom of the Beaker is recorded live on Wednesday evenings at 9:30 Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv/sloppylabwork. You can find recordings of our past shows and other streams over at youtube.com. We are at Sloppy Labwork over there. And for the very best content, among the top 10 in Keyforge cast today, search for that very phrase, Bottom of the Beaker, in your podcatcher of choice, and we'll be there, ready to talk about pet decks like Pink Fraud with you. All that and more at sloppylabwork.com. And thank you so much, Dan, DRSheep, the good doctor, for joining us here in the Den of Adaptive. It has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, and thanks for making me take no chains tonight.
You're off the
We'll
hook tonight.
we'll see what happens with the chains in Bottom of the Beaker After Dark and Quick Draw. Anything else for the folks getting off at the final audio stop?
Yeah, just thanks again, Dr. Sheep, staying up past your bedtime for us. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed hearing everything to hear about Pink Fraud. So thanks for sharing everything. And for all the listeners out there, stay sloppy.
Stay sloppy indeed. Okay, I am going to
Make
cut
those
the
pips tight.
make those. Make those.
Oh,
That's
sorry,
getting
we
cut.
cut that off.
That's getting cut. Yeah, you think you're quick, but I'm gonna be editing, so there you go. Hey, yeah,
That's
awesome.
right. The real fans can still hear us on Twitch.
That's right.
They can. I'll have to edit the VODs too, and then we'll just have to gaslight everybody. I'll get the I don't
I'm just
know,
gonna have like an AI overview me and make me keep saying I
yeah,
like adaptive.
deep fake you into saying sloppy
Uh,
pip and how much you love adaptive and how you just go home at night after a long day of work to throw some chains on your beloved Pink Fraud and
We could probably stitch together. I'm sure we use the word like at least once in this episode, and you've said adaptive now, so we can probably stitch some stuff together here and have some fun with that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. You signed the waiver before we started recording, Dan. So
yeah, I've signed away all my rights, my likeness, my voice. It's all yours now.
awesome. Fraud best adaptive deck. You heard it here, folks. Heard it here first, folks. Nice. Well, yeah. I don't know. It is getting late. I don't know if you're feeling up for a game, but we could call it there. If not, no pressure. No
I mean,
pressure.
I got 20 minutes before I'll pass out.
All
That's
right.
a game with fraud.
That's a game with fraud. Nice. Maybe we should throw something similar similar. I don't know of similar caliber,
Come
but
on,
of
come
similar.
shave me.
Shame you.
I'll play a 72 SAS COTA deck against you.
I would throw Lord's Sword at it too, but what did you have in mind? Quick draw.
I
Oh,
got
you want
Eevee
Eevee?
Tallow Lever.
Eevee Towel Lever. Okay.
We gonna
Okay.
do a hand and brain.
We could do hand
We
and
got
brain.
we gotta
Oh,
we gotta
that's
make some fast calls then, JT.
We'll be efficient. We'll be on the clock. Yeah, Lord's Sword's very cool. That's my that is a double battle fleet, no key abduction, but it's got the library access and 2 phase shifts, and that one is much more of a like, or at least I play it much more like a combo deck than a tempo deck. Getting to an end game where you can start looping those battle fleets on your Logos turns is awfully fun. All right.
You want to load up Eevee, and then I'll make your house calls for you.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I'm gonna make a
Dan,
beginner
you know
game,
hand and brain,
Dan.
don't you?
yes, I've heard of it.
Okay.
So
So
we're gonna.
JT's gonna play one of my decks that he's never played before, and I have to call the houses for him, and he has to make all
He's
decisions
got
on his own.
Okay, and I'm gonna make it.
And I'm just playing all by myself here.
Well, yeah,
But
usually we let the guests play since unless you wanted to act as the brain and let someone else play with fraud.
that'd be fun too.
That is certainly all right by me.
All right. Should we
I'll,
mix it up? Yeah.
I'll play fraud. I've never played fraud before.
All right. I'll take you guys on. Let's rumble.
What was the name of the double punk deck again?
Brickblade. BRIK. Brickblade with no C. Dan spent the last hour telling us how
Okay.
fraud struggles with big boards, and he reaches for the like. Brickblade.
So Brickblade is
Yeah.
in my historical deck list,
Yeah.
and I can add it to my cart.
Hey, I would be honored if you had a Brickblade clone. That would be fun, So if you pull
That
the trigger,
is,
I won't begrudge you.
I mean, that is potentially a bug, but I guess it doesn't matter because I don't own it in the core Master Vault, so I still wouldn't be able to play the clone.
Interesting. So I've always wondered why they have the you must be the original owner to play the clone restriction, and maybe they're like aware. No, they can't be just aware of this, and that's the reason. That's silly, right? This would be a really easy thing for them to fix if they knew about it. Huh. But yeah, in theory, you're right. They would stop you playing a clone at an official event, but
That
it's
could be the
funky to me.
reason. That's reasonable.
Maybe. Anyway, we're time's a wasting here. Quick
Time's
draw.
a wasting. He's got 18 minutes left till bedtime. So I have a game up.
Well, maybe I can't add to cart button's there, but it doesn't seem to do anything.
Mm. Uh, so Dan, if you want to hop into the game as a spectator, the password is sloppy. It is under the beginner. And honor system to not look at JT's hand, but you can obviously look at my hand to make the house calls.
Well, that's right. It doesn't show both of them anymore, does it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nice. All right.
All right.
GLHF.
All right. Good luck. Have fun. So you should be able to see my
Oofa.
hand. You get to make the call on the mulligan as well as the brain.
Trying to make this 2 rows. Let's see here. And what are we playing against? We are playing against
Torhild Lord Sword, which is double battle fleet, no key abduction, library access, double phase shift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. We'll keep this.
Okay. And you get to have the house call.
Logos.
All right.
Ooh, the good doctor.
And you
If
get to shame
only-
me as well.
If only there was a mother instead.
Yeah. Feel free to tell me how wrong I am in every decision I make during the turn. After the turn, I should say. I have to make the decisions during the turn myself.
Logos.
Interesting.
Getting those draws.
Get those draws.
Yum, yum, yum. Ooh, oofa doofa. I was worried about that. I'm going to go Logos. So my deck is indeed a library access combo deck. I'm going to pitch it.
Ooh, that's early. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The discard. That is it is also something that I do with fraud on occasion.
As long as you're not up against any kind of purge or mimicry.
Even then, sometimes it's just worth waiting for it to.
You know, better the second time around. It happens. It happens.
Shadows.
All right. We are going to go shadows. We are going to bait and switch first. Routine job second. Lights out third.
Oofa doofa.
And throw out a dodger.
Dang. I may
I was
just
surprised that you wanted to go Logos on turn 2 there. Just kind of setting the stage a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like, you saw what your Shadows hand was, and it was 0 value to dump those cards, and you're not in a position where you need to play for 0 value. Like, is you know how I look at it. So you're going
poo-pooed me there. Yeah, I just got poo-pooed.
it's just even against good decks, you know, like you can't. I mean, sometimes you need to play cards for no value because you need to get to other cards that are going to be more critical in the match. But playing cards for 0 value is, you know, when you could just draw and then get value out of them later. That just seems better to me.
Totes. And a lot of the fun here too is when you get to berate Quick Draw for making poor play decisions.
Yeah.
As you watch him make his plays.
You're playing Shadows.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get the fight in first. Deals no damage. Just gonna kill things with the poison wave, and then steal another with the relentless whispers.
Fadoofa. Brutal. All right, we're going Logos here. I think this is an unfortunate fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
And the most important decision you're going to make here is telling me which color of key to forge first.
The red one?
Is that a question, or is that in order?
I'd go with the red one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the obvious choice, the correct choice.
Yeah.
Logos.
Okay.
And here
Now,
comes the
I know
library access.
we just talked about this. I'm just going to play it.
Yep.
And
And
all she
that's
wrote.
it. All
Got
right.
the womps there, didn't you?
So you wouldn't have discarded it, right? Just
No,
Right.
I would have played it too and been a little sad to get the womps like you just did.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. It does happen.
All right. Well, let's see.
And he's got his battle fleet and his other battle fleet.
Ugh, Zookeeper. Zookeeper soft landing. Bye bye, Smoko.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Do I want to purge you or put you in my archives? I'm going to put you in my archives.
Gotta force that pointless hand choke lead.
Pointless what?
The hand choke from having the pointless card of Smoko.
Oh, no,
Oh.
no. I played the I played the wrong card. Too many cards in hand. Too big. I meant to play the Psychic Network and steal 3, but womp womp. That's awkward.
That's very
Well, there's a scrubbing.
So you do the drag and
seriously.
drop, I guess, don't you?
I did the drag and drop. I meant to steal 3 and discard the. I'm being nice to our guest. Quick draw. I'm being nice to our guest.
Well, that's all right. We're gonna play Mars here.
All right. That's I have an archives now. How about that?
Oofa doofa. Wow.
I'll take that archive. Let's
That's off to bed. Chat's like, I'm leaving.
I'm actually 50-50 on it is better or worse for you by what you just did. By accidentally killing your own creatures, because we were doing this, and then you would have had a giant hand of Mars you couldn't do anything with. You would have had to take a turn just to dump them.
That's no fun.
And that probably would have felt kind of bad.
It would have.
So I think you might have mistaked into luck.
It was all a ploy. Make you think it was a mistake, you know? A scale of 1 to Cease Forge. It's probably a 6, 7. Cease Forge was pretty bad. Yeah.
You're bad at drawing, Mr.
well,
Quick Draw.
what can I say?
There's
shadows.
something draw better, something in there. I don't know.
Yeah. This is where his draw isn't going well, but he's still up a whole key.
Yeah.
And looking to go to key 2, because it just, even when you play cards for not great, you just make space bucks.
Yeah. And you did say shadows, right?
Yes.
Okay. I will take the archive. We're gonna miasma.
Yup.
We're gonna pawn sacrifice.
Sag.
3 and 3. And then we're gonna nerve blast that mother.
Bye, mommy.
You nerve blast that mother. Dang. All right. I mean, terrible. Terrible. Poison wave on purpose this time.
Speed signal? Are you nuts?
Let's do it. Let's do it,
Speed
man.
this thing up.
I need to swing for the fences here. All right. Do your graft. Let's see it.
Yeah, look, go, go, go.
All right. Well, let's just, yeah, we'll do that. And then which creature do I want first? I remember what you had said about archiving. So I think I'm going to go with the archivist.
Seems pretty good.
And pop a couple of other Logos creatures down. And I also remember what you had said about the wormhole, and there's a lot of things that I don't want to flip over with that. So I'm going to discard it.
That's bold.
You going to shame me? Or is that all right?
No, I don't. I think I would have gone Quixo and stabbed the mother personally, but
Okay.
just because I hate letting them have efficiency, but I do like your wild wormhole discard.
Okay. Good. Good to hear.
Hmm. I'm okay with you going back into Logos here if you really want to archive some more. Let's grab a couple there. Reap, and get a steal. I'm gonna steal that one. All right.
All right. First things first, blue or yellow?
Blue. Blue is good.
You were
All right.
on point with those. I appreciate your style.
Let me look. Okay. I gotta do some counting. Sorry.
I need a little breathing room here, guys. Don't close me out. Don't close me out on this one.
Oh yeah, you should be safe to go Mars.
Yeah, I thought so too. I
I,
didn't think you wanted to handcraft even more.
it was tempting,
Yeah.
but
Ruh-roh.
my count says there's 3 more Mars cards in the draw pile,
Yes, that is correct.
which says with being that where you're at, that seems like you're guaranteed to draw them. So good chance to hit
I
the
did draw
big
them
boy
all.
on the flip.
Yeah. So.
There's the other one too.
Yeah, we'll just go straight to the big boy, hopefully.
Yep. Come on,
6.
key abduction. Or that.
Or that, yeah. That's
Battlefleet again.
yeah.
Yep. Seems okay.
And I am no. Did I find it? I found it. Let's have some fun first.
Let's mutilate you.
You said there wasn't enough creature control, so.
Oh boy. Oh.
Every once in a while there is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And
That's maximum injury is definitely.
Oofa doofa.
Squawker. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this interesting situation earlier where Megamouth into Archivist with the key abduction in hand. I was like,
it's not extra value.
But it's a wash, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Right, because you reap the amber and put a card away, and it's a wash. But you're just going like, huh, it's not.
Oops, I rated him too soon. Well, Um, that's pretty cool.
15 amber in the pool
GG.
too. 15 in hand.
Yeah.
Nice
Wow.
symmetry there, though. I'm gonna pretend that you were going for a performance piece and not just playing with your food. So I'll take
I
it.
was absolutely playing with my food. I learned that from Not Tonight when she plays against you.
Yeah. Talk
She wants
about
to make sure she can do all the fun things before the game's over.
yeah, crushing brutalism. You know? Nice.
So
Okay,
yeah,
well,
like you said, there wasn't a lot of good draws early, but the deck has so much value that it
Right. And
proves.
then in some ways, because the deck did behave nicely to you and not put a crummy battle fleet early, just put it for like the slam dunk
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah, they were both in the bottom 10 or so. That worked out actually pretty good.
got the
Did you ever
walk
redraw your
off.
library access?
I have not redrawn it. And I think even with that steel 3, it doesn't change the outcome here. Interesting. If I had gotten to, let's see, so next turn, I probably still have to play the spider next turn to let you
Oh
not
yeah, the spider.
just kill me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but key
spider.
abduction against the spider is virtually
That
the
was
same thing anyway.
that was the rationale for not playing it there. I mean, it's a little bit late to stop your key abduction keys if it gets to that. But
I mean, had it been for second key instead of third key, it would have been key abduction followed by landing the grabber jammers and keep cost increasing and keeping you off that way.
Sure. Yeah, I think this was already kind of like tending poorly, and even at this point, my end game is like, yeah, looping battle fleets with phase shifts, and even if I've got deck in hand and I'm playing battle fleets every turn with miasmas, you're still gonna get that key 3 with key abduction. So that's tough, but it was good.
Yeah, what's the other interesting trick you do once in a while is with your lab work, you archive, especially early in the game, you archive your graft because everybody assumes you're just archiving Mars,
Right.
right? Um, and you do that, and you even do it on like a library access turn, and it's like, oh, he definitely doesn't have it,
Mm.
and then wham, you got it.
So you would just go back into logos just for the graft, and
Oh yeah, so well,
if they
depending
burst
if they
high
make
enough.
enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to,
Or
yeah.
maybe
I had to assume the graph was well. I didn't assume. I had to. I figured the graph was coming, but I felt like I was in enough of a corner that I had to bet or hope that it wasn't.
Well, this is something that I think it's one of those mistakes that you make online that you would never make in person, because I just showed you my hand the turn before that with Martians Make Bad Allies.
Oh, I definitely did not read the chat there. Nice. Yeah. Womp womp. Womp womp. I don't even know if I saw that you played Martians Make Bad Allies. But all right, there you go. We've got the 2 purged creatures. Or no, a purged creature. A purged creature.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like you were too busy looking at the pinstripes.
I was looking at the pinstripes. I was too busy trying to distinguish between ammonia clouds and psychic network. My goodness. Oofa doofa. Wow. Well, cool. Well, it wouldn't have been right if we brought Dan on and then beat up his deck in the victory lap game.
Well, this is the first time I think that we've had a guest on and played Hand and Brain on their side. So
it might be.
Yeah. Normally our guests like to play Keyforge, but you don't like to play Keyforge, so.
I like other people to play fraud now. I have had my frauding fun, so
That
other
is
people need
one of my favorite
to see
things
what
about
it's got.
Keyforge too, is watching other people play my favorite decks. I think it's very much fun to watch that.
Totes.
Yeah.
Totes.
So you didn't like my double logos call early, huh?
I didn't, no, but can't argue with results. I don't know what I would have done instead. Probably shadows, but I see what you're saying though about I would just basically be moving cards for no value in shadows when I could have at least
Sometimes you definitely have to do it, right? If you can get 0 value from other stuff, moving a handful of stuff for low value.
Yeah.
Definitely better than moving 1 or 2 cards for no value.
And there was always the chance of drawing another logos with the the Bookton.
Yeah.
So.
Dream big.
Yeah.
Take big swings. I like it.
All right. Well, I suppose I should go to bed since I gotta get up and
same here.
Stay awake during training tomorrow. So
exciting.
Yeah, not exciting.
Have sweet dreams of playing in the one of the most prominent Keyforge communities in the country tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see why Marcus gets all them points.
Yeah. See what's going on. Doing a little investigation for the keychain administrators.
I might show up and it's going to be Marcus playing against Marcus in a mirror.
It's just going to be a bunch of cardboard cutouts wearing keychain swag. I love it.
You can tell them that we sent you to investigate. There's some suspicious activity.
Yeah, he's like, and no matter which Marcus wins, I win.
I hope you brought one or two of your own cutouts to kind of farm some more points too. You know.
I did not. I was not aware, but if it is a farm of cutouts, I will rally. I will have Sydney rally the sheeps and
rally the sheep, a whole flock of sheep. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Nice. All right. Well, we'll let you go. We'll shut down the stream here. Thanks, folks in the chat, for hanging out too, and we'll see you around the lab.
All right. Good night.
See ya. Thanks, Dan.